Somewhere out there, a lot of men are sitting in a quiet house thinking everything is fine, because nothing is exploding. No yelling, no slammed doors, just distance that feels normal. Until one day, it doesn't. If that thought makes your chest tighten a little, I understand why. I'm 74 now, and when I look back, I don't remember the exact day she left. What I remember is something quieter. I remember realizing that we had stopped being intimate long before that day ever came, and somehow I didn't see it while it was happening. For a long time, I thought intimacy was something that faded naturally with age. People talked about it like a phase of life that gently closed on its own, the way certain doors do. I accepted that explanation because it was comfortable. It didn't ask anything of me. It let me believe that what we had lost was inevitable, not something that required attention. In our early years together, intimacy was effortless. It wasn't something we scheduled or discussed. It was simply part of the rhythm of being close to another person. We talked easily. We touched without thinking. Silence didn't feel heavy. It felt shared. As the years moved on, life filled the space between us. Work routines, responsibilities, none of them dramatic, none of them malicious, just ordinary life. I took pride in being reliable. I showed up where I was supposed to. I paid attention to the things I thought mattered. I believed that consistency was love. Somewhere along the way, intimacy changed shape. It became less frequent, less spontaneous. I noticed it, but I didn't question it. I told myself it was normal. I told myself that long marriages settle into quieter forms. I mistook familiarity for connection. One of the easiest blind spots in a long marriage is this: we treat nothing as wrong as proof that something is right. We confuse the absence of conflict with the presence of connection. And the longer the routine holds, the more convincing that illusion becomes. Looking back now, I can see my blind spot clearly. I equated stability with closeness. Because nothing was visibly wrong, I assumed everything was fine. We weren't fighting. We weren't shouting. There was no obvious crisis. I took the absence of conflict as proof of health. What I didn't see was the slow narrowing of space between us. Conversations became practical. We discussed schedules, errands, plans. We stopped lingering in the small moments. I didn't notice how often she sighed before speaking, or how her pauses grew longer. I didn't notice because I wasn't listening for anything beyond words. There's a particular memory that stays with me now. One morning, years ago, I woke up early, as I always did. The house was quiet. I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table reading the same section of the newspaper I read every day. She walked in, stood there for a moment, and then left the room without saying anything. At the time, it barely registered. Now I wonder how many moments like that passed unnoticed. Intimacy didn't end suddenly. It thinned. It softened until it almost disappeared. I thought that because we were still sharing a home, a routine, a history, we were still sharing each other. I didn't realize that presence without attention can feel like absence. As I entered middle age, I became more inward, tired more often, less curious. I assumed comfort meant contentment. When intimacy felt distant, I filled the space with explanations instead of questions. I didn't ask how she was feeling. I didn't ask what she needed. I didn't ask because I was afraid of discovering that I had missed something important. This is the kind of loss that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with one harsh sentence or one dramatic night. It shows up as fewer small returns, fewer glances that linger, fewer conversations that go past logistics, fewer moments where someone feels chosen. And by the time you notice the silence, it has already been rehearsed for years. When she eventually left, there was no explosion, no dramatic confrontation. Just a quiet ending that felt strangely inevitable in hindsight. At the time, I focused on the practical consequences, the changes in routine, the empty spaces. I told myself that relationships end for many reasons, and that sometimes people simply grow apart. It wasn't until much later that the realization settled in, not all at once, but gradually, like a truth your mind resists before finally allowing it to stay. We hadn't grown apart suddenly. We had drifted slowly while standing in the same room. The too late moment didn't come with her leaving. It came afterward when I started noticing the patterns I had ignored, how rarely I had looked at her without distraction, how often I had assumed rather than asked, how easily I had accepted distance as normal. Now, at this age, intimacy means something different to me. It's not about youth or energy or frequency. It's about attention. It's about choosing to stay emotionally present even when life becomes repetitive. It's about noticing the small signals before they turn into silence. I used to think intimacy was mainly about time and mood, something you either had or you didn't. Now, I see it more like a language. If you stop speaking it not because you're angry, but because you're busy, you don't lose love first. You lose fluency. And then one day, you're standing beside someone you know, but you can't quite reach them. I don't feel anger when I think about the past. Mostly, I feel a quiet sadness mixed with understanding. I did what I knew how to do at the time, but knowing that doesn't erase the cost of what I failed to notice. These days, my life is simpler. My mornings are slower. I still sit at the kitchen table, but I no longer rush through the paper. Sometimes I don't read it at all. I just sit there with my coffee and the quiet, aware of how easily closeness can slip away when you stop paying attention. If there's one thing age has given me, it's the ability to sit with these thoughts without needing to resolve them. I don't search for someone to blame. I don't rewrite the past. I simply hold the understanding that intimacy isn't something you lose all at once. It fades when it's unattended. The hard part isn't that love ends. The hard part is realizing it can disappear quietly while you're still in the room if you stop noticing the person in front of you. I didn't see it then. I see it now. And that awareness, even arriving late, has changed the way I move through the rest of my life.